Here's what's coming up tonight, ladies, on the Jam. It's Supernatural Package 2. We've got Viva Chicago. That's who we're profiling for Hispanic Heritage Month. Time Out Chicago reporter Zach Long joins us to talk about Uptown being named the best Chicago neighborhood. Hot Benches, Tanya Acker is here, as well as Fixer.com's Mike Evans. That's the show, ladies.
Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, feelings right. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
Yeah, this throwback to the girls with the song.
I don't know that one.
Oh, I didn't know the song.
Bye.
Deanna, come on.
Okay, Deanna, how do you not know that song?
I just forgot the lyrics. I couldn't do the low voice. You know what I'm saying? That was my issue.
Oh, yeah. Me and Amy, we got the baritone down.
You know what I'm saying?
What's up, everybody? I'm Felicia Lawrence. If you hadn't heard already, it's Ladies' Night on the Jam. Amy Rutledge, we got Deanna Gutierrez, who's in for John Hanson, although we don't know how she doesn't know that song.
We're still letting her come in
let
anyway.
it go.
I'm still tripping off of it. Okay. Well, I know we all dread the winter months, but winter is actually coming. Winter is, I'm sorry, I should read it like Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. And we're finally getting some more functional outdoor dining options. Good news here. So city officials announced the 3 winners of Winter Dining Design Challenge. So 2 of the winners, Cozy Cabins and Block Party, proposed small modular adjoining structures that fit within the footprint of a standard parking space, okay? And the 3rd winning plan, called Heated Tables, proposes using modified forms of Japanese kotatsu to warm patrons. So each winner gets $5,000 for this design competition. Oh, and the Japanese tables right there is basically a heated table. That's all you need to know. So this is cool that we are exploring options for this. You know, literally winter is coming.
Well, and what I do like about the modular parking space type cabins, it's like dibs in Chicago on steroids. Hello. We all hold our parking spots anyway. Might as well make them useful.
Right. And on top of that, I just went to JoJo Shake's Bar yesterday in River North, and they have those like igloo type places that you can sit inside. It was a little bit chilly, not too cold yesterday. But I got to say, it really calls out for a really good Instagram pic. You know, not that I'm plugging myself, but I will post the picture later if you guys are interested. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, we had to find something to do because they're saying that those igloo structures that some of the rooftops in Chicago have, they say those could cost like $10,000. And that's
And
just
they don't
to
follow the
rent those.
rules. They don't follow the rules
Yeah,
because they
that
have to have
part too.
ventilations. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
since we're talking about like the neighborhoods and being outside, there are a lot of cool neighborhoods across Chicago, but only one was voted as the coolest in Time Out Chicago's Global Cities Survey.
That's right. Deputy Editor Zach Long is here with us. Zach, we have to ask, why was Uptown selected as the coolest neighborhood?
All right. So every year, Time Out, we send out a survey to our readers across the globe. And, you know, we ask our readers questions like, what's the best area in your city if you want to go out to eat? What's the best city or area in the city if you want to go out and have fun? What's your favorite neighborhood? Maybe your least favorite neighborhood as well. We collect all those responses, and this year we got about 38,000 responses back, you know, from around the world. And we took a look at the responses we got back in Chicago, and you know, we saw a lot of excitement about Uptown, and particularly this year we were looking for communities where there was a lot of spirit and a lot of folks that we were trying to support each other, and we definitely saw that in the responses we got back from folks in Chicago.
I've been in Uptown a bajillion times on stories, and it just, you know, the music and the nightlife atmosphere really draws a lot of the businesses together because they kind of all play off each other. Was that kind of part of what you guys were looking at?
Yeah, exactly. And we were particularly impressed with, you know, how kind of the businesses in Uptown have adapted in these times. You know, throughout most of the city, you can't really go out and see live music or see a show right now. But in Uptown, there are venues that are kind of getting back on their feet. You have a place like Carol's Pub, which is like a honky-tonk country bar that is now hosting, you know, reduced capacity, socially distanced shows with like acoustic and solo acts. The Green Mill is, they're hosting some music in the building right next door. They'll open the windows, bands will rehearse, and folks out on the patio can take in the music. And then you have the Batancha Lounge, which is this burlesque performance theater that is they're hosting shows indoors and also on their outdoor patio. So yeah, we really like how that the community is kind of adapting to these times, and those businesses are helping both draw people in and entertaining the folks that are out there in the neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach, I'm on the south side. I rarely go to Uptown, but when I do, I want a good time. I want to listen to good music. I want to know your top pick. Where should I go if I'm heading to Uptown?
I mean, I would say in normal times, I would definitely send you to the Green Mill for a night. Hopefully you get there early, get a seat, have a cocktail, maybe go see where Al Capone used to sit, and then hopefully a late night jazz show. That would be my normal recommendation. I still encourage folks to go to the Green Mill right now, that they do have this kind of outdoor setup. But yeah, that's definitely my top spot.
So cool.
Amazing. Yeah. And Pilsen won last year, Uptown this year, so we're just rooting for Chicago here. Zach, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
You guys can go ahead and read more of Zach Long's work at timeoutchicago.com. Follow him on Twitter at @Z_Long.
Don't engage in a retaliatory eviction, because that's what you did.
That's not true.
Well, that's what you did. Don't say another word. This is the courtroom. This is not your Wiener Schnitzel.
Whew. Oh, Judge Tanya Acker never comes to play on Hot Bench, and she regularly serves up the truth. And now she's sharing more words of wisdom in her new book, Make Your Case. Judge Acker, thank you so much for being here. That was quite a fiery scene that we just saw right there. How do you you get a little heated? Where is that coming from?
Sometimes I think when we're up there, and at least for me, sometimes people just say outrageous things. And I think that, we're kind of in an environment where people think it's okay to make stuff up or treat people outrageously. There aren't a lot of forums where you can take people to task for it. And I guess sometimes I just do.
Well, we absolutely love that spicy side. You do it so fabulously. And of course, you've got all the beauty, but you got the brains to match it too, which is so important. And you've put a lot of that in your new book, Make Your Case. Are you giving advice to defendants or plaintiffs in this book?
Neither. First off, I'm not giving advice to anybody. I am really, it's not about giving legal advice, rather. It's a different type of advice. It is, I want people to look at their fights. I want them to think about whether or not their conflict will be well served by going to court. I can't advise them on that, right? Every fight is different. All the facts are different. But really, more to the point, the book is about kind of demystifying parts of the legal process that I think a lot of people, take. If you're a lawyer, you take it for granted. If you're not a lawyer, there are things about how long your case will take, for instance, that are kind of counterintuitive to people. When you show up in court and the problem to you seems very straightforward, you might think that the judge is going to look at what seems to be a really simple matter and say, you know what, I get it. But you have to do a lot of work really to get the judge to that point. And it's going to take more time than you think. It's much likely to take much more time than you think. You might end up investing more in resources in trying to win, so that when you actually win, maybe your victory is not even worth as much. So it's not really, I can't tell people when to go to court or when not to. And I certainly can't provide legal advice about a particular conflict. But I can point out some things that might happen that are counterintuitive, and explain some of the things that people are kind of like, I can't believe this happens in court. Like people show up in court and they're like, I can't believe somebody can commit perjury and not go to jail. What can I do if the lawsuit's entirely made up? So I just wanted to give people a heads up about some of those kinds of things.
Awesome. So, okay, your resume speaks for itself. You've worked with the Department of Justice, the Supreme Court. You've worked with the Clinton administration. What was your take on the debates last night?
I think that as Americans, we are well served when the people who show up for job interviews, which is what a presidential election is, present themselves coherently and cogently, And in the way that, frankly, I don't have children, but in the way that we would like to see young people comport themselves. I think that people got information of different sorts from the debate last night. But here's what I will say. I will say that you got to get out and vote. Everybody's got an opinion about everything. The one thing that we should all be clear about is that lots and lots of people sacrificed so that we can all show up at the polls, so that everyone in this country can show up and have their voices heard. And we are losing an opportunity. And frankly, a democracy is only as good as the people who will show up and fight for it. So what I hope people will do is show up and vote. If you're not voting already, you can vote early. Voting's already started in many states. So please, please do vote.
I couldn't have said it better. Judge Tanya Acker, you shine so bright. You do it so well. Please don't stop, okay?
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. You can watch Hot Bench weekdays on the U and check out Judge Acker's new book, Make Your Case. You can get that on Amazon. Deanna.
The feds block a plot to kidnap a federal official, and listen up, homeowners, you can get up to $10,000 for your mortgage. Krista, we got to talk about those details coming up next in News You Need to Know.
Get that money, honey. I love it. And guys, okay, I know it feels like everything's been canceled and closed in 2020, but I've been checking out some safe places. You can still go and have some fun on our IGTV and Facebook series. Now try this. So you guys can go try this at Lift Drag House. They just reopened after 7 months. They spread out all the tables so you're safe and socially distant. They added some fabulous masks and face shields to their performances and their costumes, and just go have a fabulous night out. We'll be right back after this.
Here's the news you need to know this evening. There's a new mortgage assistance program out for suburban Cook County homeowners. It starts Friday, and get this, it's a $20 million program funded by the CARES Act. It's expected to help about 3,000 homeowners with about $7,800. So far, 13 men have been charged for allegedly planning to kidnap Michigan Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The FBI says the plan included overthrowing state governments. Whitmer blames President Donald Trump for not condemning far-right groups, and Mayor Lori Lightfoot agreed by saying, quote, all roads lead back to Donald Trump. The men will appear in court on October 13th. Trump administration is seeking a week delay in the next debates. President Donald Trump says he wants to ensure in-person debates. Trump already said he will not participate virtually, which is how they were going to do it for the next debate in Miami. Biden agrees, saying, quote, so that the president isn't able to evade accountability. And we're also learning today that the head of the White House Security Office, tested positive for the coronavirus back in September. He is currently hospitalized and said to be gravely ill. So a lot to talk about here, and cases just keep getting worse.
Cases keep getting worse, and I get worried that they're going to be taken less seriously, just given what the current visuals are before America with the president and his coronavirus case. It's very concerning. I will say that. Felicia?
Yeah. Extremely concerning. I feel like they are supposed to set the standard for our country that we should be following. And that's exactly what's not happening here. I think that with there being no virtual debate, I think that also takes away from what the American people deserve to hear, which are the issues, which are two candidates vying for that spot. I think that's an issue too. There's a lot of issues here, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you ladies. When you watch the presidential debate, I don't know if I learned anything. I don't know if I was able to get anything of it. So the whole virtual idea, I think it's okay, because at least that way we can start, knowing what these candidates stand for, because I, again, did not get anything from that first presidential debate.
No, vice presidential debate last night was a little bit more informative, a little bit more interesting to watch. Obviously, there's been a lot on social media today about it. If you guys got a chance to watch it, it seems as though Kamala Harris was the clear front runner in this debate. But it was she got a lot of criticism too. But the debates for finally, at least last night, were starting to give us a little bit more substance, a little bit more policy than just the fluff. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and she's clearly a far better debater than Pence was, but at least we got to hear from both sides and could actually literally hear. I will say, I don't know if having another debate, particularly with President Trump, if he's going to be the same way that he was before, I don't know if it's going to really change any other Americans' opinions. It just seems like things are so set now.
Yeah, I don't know. I read in an article that there is no such thing as an undecided voter, and so many people can interpret that differently. But what I found interesting about the VP debate was how many people were actually saying, Kamala Harris has to make sure she tones it down, make sure she's not too aggressive, make sure she's not too nice, because as a woman, you have to think about all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very interesting to me. I don't know. I don't like that.
Well, I was watching her facial expressions last night, and I was texting people. I was like, she's got to stop smiling, because she was smiling out of frustration and been like, oh my gosh. But it also makes her look like she was taking it less seriously. And that was in my head as a woman. I was like, oh God, girl, come on, wipe off the expression a little bit.
I thought it was passive aggressive. I thought it was her being a little passive aggressive. Not that she doesn't take it seriously, but she's like, man, come on. So I don't know. I will say I was very excited just as a Black woman to see her up there, make history. And I was here for all of her smirks, her squints, and everything in between. She was speaking my language.
Oh my gosh. And we can't forget about that fly, but we'll keep it moving.
That too.
That is true. All right, Krista.
That fly was the star of social media today. All right, guys, it's a modern day battle of the sexes, and it's going down on TikTok. I'm going to have the deets coming up in what's trending, and also what's trending, our beautiful forecast. I've been loving this. Here's a look at tomorrow's as we head to break. Soak it up while you can.
October is National Fire Safety Month. So tonight we are talking with President of the National Fire Sprinkler Association, Shane Ray, and the Executive Director of the Fallen Firefighters Foundation, Chief Ron Sarnicki, about the importance of having fire sprinklers.
Amy, thanks for having us with you today. We're excited to be able to talk about life safety. This is a great partnership we have with the National Fire Sprinkler Association, Common Voices, which is an advocacy for life safety, and the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation.
Let's start with sprinklers, because I just recently learned, and did not know, getting sprinklers in your business can get you some tax cuts.
That's certainly true. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 included an incentive for small businesses that retrofit their building with fire sprinklers. Before it was 39 years to depreciate it on your taxes. Now it's 1 year. So it's a great incentive. And then the CARES Act included a provision for corporations. So all those high-rise buildings that we need to get retrofitted, now's the time, because they can accelerate that depreciation to just a few years.
Chief Sarnicki, let's talk a little bit about how important that is also for the firefighters themselves.
Sprinkler systems reduce the spread of fire in a structure. By having a working smoke alarm and the sprinkler systems, you get that early detection, the alerting of the occupants in the home, in the business, and getting them outside the structure. What we've learned is that the combustibility of the products in structures, homes, businesses, has a higher temperature. Fires are burning hotter and faster. There is more byproducts of combustion, smoke with very hazardous chemicals in that smoke, carcinogens. We're seeing more and more firefighter cancers occurring within our industry, and we're really trying to address this through technology. There will always be a need for the fire service. They do great jobs, and they are very brave individuals who go into those burning structures and try to save property and extinguish the fire from spreading. But it is a hazardous job, and unfortunately firefighters do die in the line of duty. We want to do everything we can to make it safer for them and for the citizens so that everyone goes home.
How quickly can a sprinkler system suppress a fire? How much damage can it prevent from happening?
We've conducted a demonstration to show you. You can see how fast the fire grows there with the modern furnishings that's synthetic, but there you can quickly see how the fire is contained by the fire sprinkler system. In that one room, only the sprinkler closest to the fire goes off. They do not all go off like you may see in some movies. Gives the occupants time to get out, and it gives firefighters time to arrive. Without a fire sprinkler system, this demonstration we've conducted shows you the impact of fire. That is what we know as flashover, and that is when there's no survivability for the occupancy, and puts the firefighters at a much greater risk as they try to control that fire. And if you can imagine, if that fire is elevated to higher heights, it just makes the firefighters' jobs much more challenging to fight. That's why we need to partner with everybody. As Chief Sarnicki said, smoke alarms, fire sprinklers, and firefighters are that combination you need. And now there's a tax incentive for businesses to include this. There's not an excuse now of cost.
Shane Ray and Chief Sarnicki, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate the insight. For more information about fire safety, visit fireadvocates.org and nfsa.org. We'll be right back.
Okay, guys, are you ready?
We're ready.
Sorry.
I'm typing away.
Alicia,
in our
I don't know
little
what
chat
you're
here.
gonna say. I don't know what you're gonna say, but I support it. Okay.
Yes. Girl power.
That's the kind of sisterhood we need here, you guys. As you can see, Ladies Night continues. I'm Felicia Lawrence, Amy Rutledge, Deanna Gutierrez in for John Hansen, and Krista Green.
Don't forget about me, girl. I'm right over here. What am I? Chopped liver? Come on.
Hey, and you know what we're going to talk about in the next break? We are going to talk about fixing stuff in your house, and we don't need a man. We can do it ourselves. Right?
That's right.
I need a man. I need a
Well, I
man.
need it for other things.
I need it.
Not for, you know.
Well,
Not for
I
all.
just
Speaking
want
of a man,
out.
can we talk about how you guys just totally blasted me last night and introduced my boo to the
Yes.
world without letting me know? Come on. Let a sister
Amazing.
know next time. Give me a heads up you're going to do that.
We're
I
making your
take full
boyfriend famous.
responsibility. Okay, everybody, you are watching The Jam, and we are here with you. We got your back. It's Thursday, and Thursdays, we always add a little extra seasoning onto our shows. You guys ready?
Girls' night.
So ready.
Total girls' night. Kick us off here, Amy.
I know it's close to Halloween, and nobody really wants to talk about Christmas just yet, but a little bit of news out there about Christmas. Okay, so despite COVID, Santa Claus will be coming to town and the malls across the Chicagoland area. A little bit different this year, though. In a lot of cases, Santa Claus is going to be in a snow globe, and you're not going to be able to sit on his lap, which makes perfect sense, right? So expect when you go to malls that you're going to have the Santa experience very differently. They might set up like a display where you're sitting on packages and he's in the Santa's castle or whatever. And they're going to work out ways to make the pictures look good. I don't know. But
I mean, okay, I have two thoughts really quickly. One, you guys really like that stuff? I always used to cry when my parents would take me to the mall. Number two, the snow globe is the plexiglass. You can't fool me.
I know.
Well,
But
right.
it sounds clear that way.
You got to do what you got to do, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Are you
Going
guys
to
going
the
to do
Duke-
that, Amy? Are the kids asking?
So I don't generally ever take my kids to the malls for do these pictures. Thankfully, I am part of a group that does a very large Christmas party, and they have a Santa that comes every year. So we get our pictures there, and I could just nix that off my list because I do not want to go to the mall. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah, not right now. Yeah, we did. I heard you were about to ask. We did do going to the mall when we were younger, just a couple times. Yeah,
All
I
my
come from
pictures
the
are
family that
hideous.
I come from the family that you spend Christmas at church, church at
Oh,
my
Christmas
gosh.
at church.
Yeah. That's
Well,
true.
that means we
All
just
right,
have to
damn
see all the pictures. All right, guys. So we've been sharing stories of Latinos across the Chicago area in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. And we continue with 2 young women using their online platform to promote Latino-owned businesses.
Hola mi gente, my name is Genesis, aka Donut Mommy, y esto es Viva Chicago.
Viva Chicago is a web series that highlights local Latino-owned businesses in the Chicago and surrounding Chicagoland area.
Today we're checking out a Cup of Joe reboot.
We really explore local mom and pop shops, shops that you don't know of, shops like...
And we're actually right outside of Panaderia Nuevo León,
where you can get a concha ice cream sandwich, having those unique treats that are still Latino and Mexican inspired. It's really fun for me to get to try all these delicious treats.
What have been some of the highlights so far in your career?
What we love about the show is that a lot of Latino business owners are very friendly and welcoming. So, like when you go to a Mexican household, they offer you water, they give you food, they keep feeding you as much as possible.
So this is the red velvet.
They see us as like a daughter figure, and so they'll call us mija and things like that. So it's like super sweet, super genuine, and I think we have that relationship and that we're able to establish that. I think it just brings more of a connection.
That motivates us to go home and edit and make the best video to be able to showcase their business.
And I've heard that ube is from the flavor of a sweet potato. We really wanted to highlight these stories, so not just promote the businesses, but actually promote the story of the owner, the manager, whoever runs the shop or the business. It's really important for me to tell their story.
Yo llegué aquí en 1968.
Well, the first video especially, that was Panaderia Nuevo León. It really tells the story of the American dream that people from Mexico have coming here, and so I'm glad that I got to do that first story and highlight that, because ever since that story took off, we've just gotten great positive feedback.
For the future for Viva Chicago, we really want to be able to incorporate more female entrepreneurs when it comes to filming. We want to be able to hire social media people that are females as well, because we would love to have that opportunity when we were younger. So we want to be able to give that opportunity to other people that are studying film or that want to be in the industry.
I would love to extend it not just for Chicago, so I would like to create Viva Los Angeles, Viva Miami, Viva New York City, so all these different things just to continue to help Latinos share their voices, share their stories. I think that would be amazing.
If you were a fan of mole, it's been a great journey being able to do the show. And then as they kept going, like I was able to better myself, and it's a learning experience for both of us. And so I feel like every episode I'm going to be learning something new.
Located in the Garfield Ridge neighborhood of the Southwest side.
I think we work really well together because we both are creatives. We love producing content, and at the end of the day, we just do what we love. And so for us, it's been really great learning how to own a brand, develop a brand, really manage it, and then see where it goes from there. And meeting all these people has been really amazing because we've made all these connections that we otherwise probably wouldn't have.
We love to see it. Follow Viva Chicago on Instagram at Viva_Chicago and watch full episodes on their YouTube channel. And if you know anyone who goes above and beyond for their community, we want to share their story. To nominate your friend, neighbor, even a stranger, send us an email at jamrealshy@wciu.com. Amy?
Hey guys, Sesame Street, a program that is watched a lot in my household. Well, they are doing it again. Thankfully, they're helping out us parents by teaching another really important message. So next Thursday, our favorite toddler puppets are going to air a half-hour special teaching kids to stand up against racism. Power of We will teach kids to, when you see something that you don't think is right, to say something and then to tell an adult. This is amazing because, you know, if you have little kids in the house, well, even a little bit older kids, like, how do you have this conversation with a little person who barely knows how to pick up a fork? And then you're trying to teach them like these major stories about racism. I love this about Sesame Street.
Completely. This is a difficult conversation that I feel like a lot of parents have when they get ready to approach their kids. But Sesame Street has a way of breaking things down, and those conversations can start earlier than I think a lot of us think. The kids know the difference between right and wrong, and they can understand good and bad feelings. So it's time that this conversation is had. That's good.
For sure.
Look, I didn't have cable growing up, so I'm so happy it's Sesame Street because that's the only cartoon I was able to watch. I wish they would have done it 20 years ago because, like both of you ladies said, it's super important, but also a very difficult conversation. So thumbs up for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's and especially kids at a little age, they don't know any different. Like to them, people are people. Like this is great. They're learning it right off the bat. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, thanks to the pandemic, most of us have been spending a lot of time inside of our homes.
Yeah, you probably noticed your space could probably use a little bit of an upgrade. Well, if you're not one for doing it yourself, Mike Evans, the founder of Grubhub, has a new company that promises to help you get that coveted fix. And I wish I would have talked to you like 2 weeks ago. I hung wallpaper for the first time. I'm not a DIYer. And it took a little longer than I expected.
Yeah, well, it turns out you probably still have something that you'd love to have fixed in your house. And we're spending 24/7 in them these days. So we see these things. They're right in front of us all the time. That's where Fixer.com comes and can help you do things through our video consults.
Yeah. So what are some projects that you think people should not try at home? Because I think painting is probably not that difficult, but that's probably a lot for me.
It's funny. We find that people with like a screwdriver and a coach, you can get through most things in your home and fix most of the things in your home. Obviously, things like the opening up the electrical panel or something like that, you wouldn't do anything like that. And certain plumbing jobs, you probably want to shy away from doing unless you really felt confident about it. And that's where we have our in-home service as well. But you can do more than you realize. Most people can do more than they realize as long as they've got a coach that can sort of give them the confidence to get started.
Oh, my husband always messes with the electrical, and I'm always like, stop, you're going to set the house on fire. So this is awesome because you can, I looked at the website, and so you can like kind of reach out and look at a specific project, and someone sends you a tutorial. Is that how that works? And they work with an agent?
No, so it's all employees that are on these video calls. So what happens is you send a text to FIXER with whatever your problem is, and we'll hop right on a FaceTime or on a Zoom call right there, and we'll see and hear the same things you're seeing and hearing. And it's going to be an experienced handywoman or handyman who's been in the industry for years who will talk you through the problems. And most of the time, we can help people fix those things themselves, and it's free for the first 5 minutes if we can't. And then in those rare cases where they just really need a professional to come into the home, we can actually send out a fixer to come and actually do the work right there. So it's sort of a two-step process. We help you try to do it yourself. If that doesn't work out, we can send somebody to come help.
Oh, I think this is so cool because a lot of it, well, look, this is someone from the outside. I was going to say it's not rocket science. I was going to say it's not rocket science, but you need someone that is trained to do it. And so if you can have access to that and someone to do it long distance, that's really cool. I'm curious as how pricing works, just because you typically have to pay $100 just for a plumber to come to your house and diagnose you.
Yeah, if you could, I don't know where you're finding these plumbers for $100 because it's like $200 or $300 to get a plumber to come to your house in a lot of cases. And so, like a lot of times,
I got a guy.
Like, you got a guy? Well, that's good.
That's good.
So you don't have a guy. It can cost a lot of money to have a plumber come into your home, and so but the first thing they're going to do is they're going to do things like, okay, use a plunger, or see if it's running all the time. They're going to see if the handle's sticking, if they can figure something like that out. And so we can walk customers through just those simple things like that, and it's $15, right, for the video consult. And then if that doesn't work out, then we can send somebody out there to do it, and it always ends up being a lot cheaper because we don't round up to the hour or anything like that. We just charge the time that we're there, and so it ends up being a much more affordable way to sort of troubleshoot problems yourself. And then we can help you coach you through it. And then if we have to send somebody to come do the work, that it's not for something simple. It's for something a little bit more complicated.
Oh my gosh,
well, Mike, this is a fantastic idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. To get more help, log on to Fixer.com. And then you can also check them out on Facebook at Fixer, and then Hey Fixer on Instagram. What a really incredible, smart idea.
Oh my gosh, that's like life changing to be able to do something yourself and then know that if you screw it up, they're coming to fix it for you. All right, we're going to move on a little bit. Big news in the Real Housewives world. So if you're like me, and I watch all of them, I'm not going to lie. Roni has hired its first Black cast member in the show's 13-year run. This is the Real Housewives of New York, if you don't follow it. Ebony K. Williams, she's 37 years old. She's from Charlotte and is an attorney and TV host in New York City. So really exciting news to see them shaking up the cast. They lost 2 cast members, Dorinda and Tinsley Mortimer, who now lives in Chicago. They lost them last year. So excited. I know I am.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is always the conversation, right? You almost are shocked that it takes so long for something like this to come up now, but I mean, we love to see it now, then, before, after. It's just really good.
Yeah, better late than never, right? They should have done this a long time ago. It is New York, after all, one of the most diverse cities in the country. So it just shocks me that it's taken this long for them to get to this. But glad they did it.
All right, everyone, let's talk about what's coming up here. The state that's the new hotspot for COVID-19. And guess what? It's really, really close to Illinois. And Blackhawks fans are not happy today. Big news coming up in News You Need to Know. But first, let's take a look at tomorrow's forecast. Here's the news you need to know this evening. 72-year-old Willie Wilson has tested positive for COVID-19. He's the current U.S. Senator candidate challenging Senator Dick Durbin. Wilson says he will begin a 10-day quarantine. He says he's feeling some mild symptoms, but he's confident he'll recover fast. Wisconsin is opening up a field hospital at a state fair park, all because of a surge in COVID-19 cases. Of course, as we can imagine, hospitals are overwhelmed. The governor even issuing an emergency order limiting public gatherings to no more than 25% capacity, a change from 50%. And Corey Crawford will not be offered a new contract with the Chicago Blackhawks. He spent his entire career here in Chicago. Corey is 35, and the GM, Stan Bowman, says that they have some young goaltenders they believe in that can fill his shoes. I mean, I guess you got to let the underdogs get some, right?
Man, I was so sad to hear this news. Corey Crawford brought home 2 cups to Chicago in his 400 some odd games that he played in this city. My oldest has a Corey Crawford jersey. He was such a cool player to watch and such a nice guy. It's really sad. I heard it was a very emotional meeting he had with Stan Bowman this morning. He will be released of his contract starting tomorrow morning at like 11. He's going to be a free agent. It's a big pool of free agents this year. You really hope he gets picked up again. But it's sad for Chicago because for a lot of us watching him win those cups was such a great moment. But I know they're starting with a younger team, moving on, rebuilding here. I got it.
He's just a staple here in Chicago. I mean, but the younger thing is what gets me, what the GM is saying, how they want to kind of make this shift. The guy's 35, and I know that's just how it goes for athletes, but I can imagine that that's just tough, you know?
Yeah.
You're
That's for
still
sure.
really young.
It's really young. Trust me, very young. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Halloween costumes because you guys, you know, 2020 is a weird year, right? Like, so there are some really interesting Halloween costumes that are coming out to kind of highlight all the weirdness that is 2020. So let's take a look. Yandy's sexy spin on hand sanitizer at nearly $70 comes with a high hip leotard with a fake hand sanitizer logo. And the clear U2 screams, "Don't touch me," doesn't it? Or how about the mail-in ballot costume for just $30? Or even better, wait, look, the Postal Babe, which is $55. And that one I don't think we can show because it's literally just pasties on her nipples.
Where are you going with these costumes? Where are you going? Because
not even Chicago.
In Chicago, well, now we're in a pandemic, but in Chicago, if you walk out like that, you're gonna catch something the next day. And I'm talking like an illness, a sickness. You're not gonna be able to talk. Your throat's gonna get shut. Like, where are you going?
Oh yeah, a lot more than your throat's gonna get shut. It's let's not even go there.
I was like, what kind of illness? What kind
I know.
of
I said it, and then I was like, let me fix
roll that back.
I personally feel like the costumes could be a little bit better. It just looked like a little piece of plastic that they put hand sanitizer on. It just seemed like it could be a little bit more to it, you know?
Yeah.
I was waiting for the. Go ahead.
I was waiting for the, it's hand sanitizer, don't touch, you know, like, or stay clean or something. It's like, oh, hey, look, don't touch me, right?
I mean, from afar, the ballot looks like a toothpaste tube. I mean, does it not like blink fast? Take a look and then blink away. I mean, it looks like toothpaste. I don't want to be toothpaste. Shut it down.
Yeah, only a woman would look at that and say, that looks like a toothpaste tube.
All right, guys, we've got much more coming up. Let's take a look at the city. A beautiful night in Chicago. It's going to be a beautiful weekend ahead, too. It's the Royal Sonesta Riverfront Camera, and we will be right back.
Supernatural is kicking off its 15th and final season tonight on CW26. Brendan Pope sat down with stars Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles. Take a look.
Is there something you guys have not had a chance to do on the show or never got to do on the show that you really wanted to, and you're kind of bummed you never got to do?
That's a good question. Aggles?
You know, it's hard to believe that there could be anything left. You'd think we'd covered just about every basis possibly,
right?
That we could possibly cover. I will say that there was one thing that was always kind of hanging in the idea tree that was never plucked, and that was actually doing an episode on the road, going somewhere and shooting it, shooting it like a real traveling road show. It was a dream of the late great Kim Manners. Phil Segrici tried to put it together. We wanted to try to do it down in like the Southwest, because that's just there's a topography there and a look there that you just can't match in anywhere else. So the fact that we didn't do that, and then me personally, I always thought the Winchester brothers needed to spend a little bit more time in New Orleans, because I mean, come on, that's just rich with folklore. So, but I'd say we did pretty well at covering our bases. I say we did we went to the moon and back, we went to heaven and back, went to hell and back, we went to other universes and back. So it's the fact that we missed the Grand Canyon. I think it's okay.
Jerry, was there anything on the bucket list for you that you wish you could have crossed off?
Yeah, Jensen and I have talked about this. We were filming an episode with Richard Spate, who directed a few of our episodes and who had been in a few of the episodes as an actor as well. And he's a super funny guy, and we always just horse around on set and joke around and laugh. And we always talk about how funny it would be to do an episode. We actually have a text thread, just the three of us, and we call it Naked SBN. Not a nude episode, but like Naked Gun style.
Okay, what?
Yeah. No, this isn't a Showtime show all of a sudden or something like that. No, so it was going to be called the Naked SBN, like the Naked Gun. And so it's all just funny stuff, like Sam's wig falling off and Dean tripping on the floor. So all just goofy, tongue-in-cheek, kind of silly stuff that makes us all laugh. So that's something we actually have a bunch of ideas written down on our text thread. And maybe if we come back in a couple years for a reboot, they'll entertain us and let us do a goofy episode like that.
Well, you can watch the final season premiere of Supernatural tonight on CW26 at 7 o'clock. Alrighty, it is ladies' night. So ladies, I know we all love a clean, tidy, spiffy looking home, but this new trend on TikTok is hilarious, and these girlfriends are roasting all their boyfriends' disgusting places. Now, first they'll show great photos of their apartments like you're looking at here. This is our producer, Fia. She's amazing. Look at her place. We love it. And I mean, it's just such a contrast from a super clean, amazing place. Oh, that's my brother's dog. Love you, Arlo. To the most disgusting bathrooms, sinks, everything you've ever seen. So I'm going to spare you the disgust. But I want to know, what is a major red flag when you first walk into a guy's place that you're like, no, I got to go. This is a deal breaker.
I mean, I guess it wasn't a deal breaker because I'm still with him, but my boyfriend, when he shaves over the sink, he doesn't clean up the hair that falls onto the sink. Number one. Number two, I got a lot, but I'll only do two. This man has sick clothes. Like, he'll wear a specific set of clothes when he's sick and he has a fever and he's throwing up, and he keeps those clothes with his regular clothes. Like, first of all, I've never heard of sick clothes. And why do you keep them in the same drawer as your regular clothes?
I am right there with you because I lived with a guy once, not my husband. My husband is actually like a neat freak. He is way neater than I am. We're pretty similar, so it's all good. But I dated a guy, the same thing, hair, and he had a goatee, and he was very hairy, and he would leave it, and then the toothpaste along the sides of the counter would get stuck in the hair, and they would dry to the counter. It was
Yeah, no, that sounds like not fun, especially when it's a new person and you don't know their germs. But I would say I can take clutter. I can take stuff that's misplaced. I just don't want like trash. Like, you can take your food containers to the trash or to the sink or dishes and stuff like that. I don't want to see trash, like food items. Don't do that. Don't do it.
For sure. And I'm going to edit myself real quick. That first apartment was our executive producer, Afia. She has an outstanding place. Go check out her Instagram, Producer 1908. We love you, Afia.
Look at Krista trying to save her job.
She's a DIY